So, welcome to our RFP Money Story podcast, a space for sharing real money stories and where we dive into real conversations about finance, success, and the lessons learned along the way. So, today we're excited to welcome our second guest, financial wealth manager, Miss Heidi Casino.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm great.
All right. So, um, before we start, can you share your personal money journey and financial mindset?
Um, yung personal financial journey ko, I think it started out late. Pero during my childhood years, nung na-introduce sa akin yung concept of money, it was this book that I read na actually, ang pinaka hindi ko makalimutan doon sa book na yun, yung sinabi niya na pay yourself first. So at that time, I really don't understand what that means. Kasi di ba parang, pay yourself first, binayaran ka na nga nung sweldo mo. Paano ba ibabayad sa'yo? Di ba, first na nga yun. So parang ganun. Pero at that time kasi, I didn't have anyone to explain it to me. And I didn't have anyone to mentor me about it. So I just go with the flow and parang kapag nagkakapera ko, gastos, ganun. And it was just really later in my life, I think, when I joined the insurance industry, na talagang doon ako na-immerse dun sa concept of financial literacy. And I thought that it is very important. Bakit hindi siya tinuturo sa school? Parang ganon. So yun doon na nagsimula yung interest ko about financial literacy and how to go about it in our daily lives.
All right. So, based dun sa book na nabasa niyo before, what's your first memory of saving money and how did it shape your financial mindset?
Actually, yun lang talaga. Pero the change in mindset happened talaga. Kasi it was just that phrase na naalala ko sa book na yun. I can't even remember the title of the book. Pero as I grow up, I didn't have anyone to look up to when it comes to money. Kasi yung lola ko kasi, laking lola kasi ako. And alam mo naman yung mga lola, hindi sila nagbabangko, di ba?
Yeah.
So, wala talaga. Tapos even in school, hindi rin siya tinuturo. And then, nai-inspire lang ako na manood din nung mga, I don't know if you know this, medyo may edad na to, Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous. I would watch that before. And I would think na, ang galing naman nila, meron na silang ganun, meron na silang ganyan. So, nung bata ako, parang naisip ko, sana paglaki ko, ganun din yung ma-achieve ko, ganyan-ganyan. Of course, hindi sobrang lifestyle of the rich and famous, so hindi mo naman talaga ma-achieve yun kung ganun-ganun lang, di ba? Pero nung later on nga, that's when I realized that I have to be around people who have that kind of that certain level of financial literacy to change my mindset. And that only happened, yun, when I joined the insurance industry.
At what age can expose
9 years
sa...
ago. So, ilan taon ako nun? Mga 30, 35 yung pinaka-solid na talaga na yung exposure. Kasi 45 na ako ngayon. Mag-45 ako this year. And so it's just around 35 to 40. I remember that very vividly because I used to work in a company who pays us 16 months to 24 months of bonuses. And then, nung natututo na ako ng financial literacy, bigla ko na-realize, saan ko dinala yung mga bonus ko? Imagine mo having parang additional 12 months of bonus, di ba, from your company. Tapos parang wala kang napundar, wala kang masyadong naipon out of it. So, yun yung turning
So,
point.
since laking lola ka,
Mm.
and growing, parang, I think, I'm not sure if it's late, yung 30s ka na na-expose
Mm.
for real finance people.
Mm-mm.
Growing up, ever since na nagkaroon ka ng pera, although you already mentioned na labas ka na labas ng pera, ganun, what were some financial lessons you learned or wish you had learned earlier?
Um, Sana naintindihan ko kaagad kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng pay yourself first. Kasi yun pa lang sobrang laking leverage niya. Isipin mo when you do that, for example, even if it's just a small thing. Halimbawa, um, 500 lang every payday you pay yourself with, di ba? So you set aside that. Kasi as long as you keep on seeing money inside your wallet, as long as you keep on seeing inside your mobile bank, you will always have that valid reason to spend it, di ba? You will always justify. Pero once you're able to separate that money na on the onset pa lang and just leave it to your savings account or to your emergency fund account, then it's safe there. So, and over time, makakalimutan mo na lang siya, or it's really building the habit eh. Yun, actually, building the habit of saving, and then later on investing, and then later on buying the things that you really want. Of course, you can do it naman simultaneously. Why not, 'di ba? As long as you can. Kasi tinuturo rin namin, 'di ba, yung jar method system, or yung envelope method, 'di ba? So that you can also do that simultaneously, yung saving, spending, and then whatever you want, you buy it, 'di ba? So to reward yourself. So yun lang, siguro sana mas may nakapagpaliwanag sa akin nun ng mas maaga. And sana mas maaga kong na-build yung na-build yung habit of saving. And I don't wanna blame it to other person na sana may ibang nagpaliwanag sa akin na mas maaga. I should have learned it also. I should have um parang mas naging eager sana ako to learn more, kahit na I was not really exposed to that kind of environment na maraming mga tao talaga na tungkol sa pera talaga yung nasa isip nila. Sana lumabas ako doon sa comfort zone ko. So, kahit sa mga anak ko ngayon, yun yung palagi ko sinasabi sa kanila. You expose yourselves to people na sobrang hindi nyo ka-level mag-isip. Kailangan mas matalino sa inyo, or mas makakapag-add value doon sa kung ano yung meron kayo ngayon. And at the same time, kayo rin, when you learn that, you add value to others din naman as well. So parang paying it forward din. So yeah.
Okay, so ever since you started saving money and until now na you're earning money and you're already exposed to financial planning. Do you think it's a turning point na zero ka sa savings mo? Or is there any other turning point na ayaw mo na maulit?
Oo. Like,
Madami.
yun nga. That's also the point, no? Kasi growing up naman, hindi kasi ako talaga maluho na tao. And then, when I had money, I was really okay. Wala namang masyadong problema. And then, I became a financial advisor pa, diba? So, okay naman din. Hindi naman very lucrative naman yung industry. And then, there came a time that I ventured into business. Okay? Na that really depleted my savings. As in, yun yung downfall ni Heidi. Sobra talaga. And sobra siyang, kasi first time ko na ma-stress about money. First time kong nagigising ng alas 3 ng madaling araw. And then I would think about it. Na para siyang nightmare. Kaya siya nightmare for me because it was so bad to the point that we had to move the kids from a private school to a school na mas mura yung tuition fee. And then at that time, I really felt so defeated. Kasi isipin mo, ang tagal mong walang problema sa pera, tapos nag-RFP ka pa. Alam mo yung gano'n, na parang ang dami mong natutulungan para yumaman sila. Tapos yung sarili mo, hindi mo matulungan. And so at that time, I really felt so defeated kasi parang ang dami mong alam tungkol sa pera na eh. 'Di ba? Tapos tinuturuan mo rin yung mga anak mo kung paano mag-save kasi you don't want them to experience, or you don't want them to have the same mindset as you had before. When nung wala ka pa talagang any concept of financial literacy. And you're also doing good at your job. Tapos nag-RFP pa ako that time. And then, those things are happening to me. Tapos sobra akong, because parang dun nga ako kinita ni Lord na, ay, naiyak talaga ako. So I think, dun ako minit talaga ni Lord na that was the point na I already prayed, Lord, hindi ko na to kaya, surrender ko na. Kasi sobrang peak na sa akin nung nilipat ko ng school yung mga bata. Randomly, nanonood ako ng YouTube. Kasi gusto ko na lang kalmahin yung sarili ko. For some reason, lumabas yung isang Sunday service ng isang church. And it's about money. So, bilang tao na problemado sa pera, syempre pinanood ko, di ba? Tapos, it happens na series pala yan about money. Tapos, they are talking about debts, they are talking about the same problem that I was going through that time. Yung business na hindi nag-succeed. Yeah. So, I watched the whole series. That was 4 series yun. So, 4 Sundays yun pinapanood ko. And then, that was when I really fell down to my knees and I just prayed na, sige Lord, surrender ko na to sa'yo. Kasi, isipin mo, nag-aral ako ng RFP pero wala. Di ba? I mean, sobrang helpful nun sa akin. Pero, even yung personal knowledge ko about money, hindi kaya yung situation ko. So, I really had help. I really needed help that time. So, and then, at that point in time, I really felt that even if I'm going through a lot of financial problems during that time, that was when I felt that the Lord was nearest. And naging clear sa akin kung ano yung mga kailangan kong gawin. So, yung mga pinag-aaralan ko sa any financial literacy programs that I have underwent, like RFP, yung sa mga Finlit talks, it all went back to me. And then, parang at that point in time, I already know what to do. Kasi parang I was filled with so much emotions during that time na nakakalimutan ko ng isipin na I don't have to do this on my own. So, we told the kids about what's happening. And then, I remember very vividly, nung nag-uusap kami nung dalawang anak ko sa dining area. And yun yung first time na binrate ko yun sa kanila that we're really having a financial problem. And then, I was crying kasi sabi ko, I felt so defeated. Like, I've been talking about financial literacy here and then. I'm being invited to talk about how to save money, how to get out of debts. And then here we are in that same problem that I am talking about, na hindi tayo makaalis doon. And then I know that the Lord really used my kids to talk to me. So when I told the problem to the kids, that's also when I felt that they were used to by God to tell me kung ano yung gusto niya sabihin sa akin. Kasi sabi ko sa kanila, I felt like a hypocrite kasi nga, I've been talking a lot about this. Yet here we are. Sabi sa akin ng daughter ko, don't feel like a hypocrite, mommy. Kasi all the more that you have to talk about financial literacy so that no one will ever feel that thing that we're feeling right now. And then my son said, just trust the process, mommy.
How cute.
So yun. And it felt lighter. Kasi so, I realized kasi na even if you have so much head knowledge, if puro lang siya head knowledge, even if you know how to apply that to yourself, there are still other factors that you cannot control. Diba? You can only control what you can do. So what will you do for those things naman that you cannot control anymore, diba? You have to raise it to the Lord. So that's what I did. And then after that, miracle after miracle happened. And then so my head was clear that time. And then I applied whatever I've learned sa RFP. And then nakakatawa kasi alam ko na kung paano kausapin yung mga yung mga tumatawag na ano. Dati tinuturo ko lang yun pero ako na-experience ko na. So I'm I'm now finding joy during the process because at least hindi na lang siya head knowledge, applied na rin siya. Alam mo yung gano'n na. So, ngayon, I'm more confident na when I talk to someone na galing din sa situation na yon. And then I would tell them na, oh, ito gawin nyo, ganito na gawin nyo. At least first hand yun. So, at least there's still something to be grateful for about that whole experience. And with my kids naman, they were also able to, naging ano sila, street smart sila. Kasi they learned how to commute. Alam mo yun, they learned how to compute for their baon, and then they would save money, ganyan. And then I remember after nung tragedy that happened to us, nung nakaka-recover na kami. Before kasi, we would just go to the mall and then, ano siya, we would go to the mall and then, parang, lalakad lang kami doon. Window shop lang, ganyan. Pero nung nakaka-recover na kami, so we went to the mall, I went to the mall with my daughter, and then we went inside the store, and then she bought something there. Medyo hesitant pa siya. I don't remember anymore kung ano yung binili niya. Pero, I bought her that thing that she pointed out. It's a dress yan. I can't remember. Tapos sabi niya, nagulat siya kasi paglabas namin ng shop, may paper bag siyang dala. Before, di ba, parang window shop lang kami. Tapos sabi niya, Mommy, may paper bag tayong dala. Sabi gano'n. Tapos sabi niya, are we back in business? So yun. We wouldn't appreciate those kinds of moments kung hindi namin napagdaanan yung part ng buhay namin na yun. And looking back, it turned out that it really had to happen. Siguro to humble us, to humble me, di ba, probably. Kasi siguro at that time, there's really something in my heart that I need to fix. And it's only that kind of situation na nilagay kami ni Lord in that would iron out whatever it is that I was feeling before towards myself, 'di ba? So yeah, ang haba ng kwento ko, no? Kasi iyak na.
Actually, ang sweet and ang very considerate ng children mo. Like, how old are they na ba?
18 and 15.
Okay, that's why.
So that time, ano yun 3-4 years ago yun. So yun. Kaya sobrang nakakatuwa kasi alam ko naman na yung mga kids ko talaga, even before, have a different level of maturity in them. Kasi growing up, I never talked to them like, parang barkada kasi kami. So that's also one of the reasons why I moved from a corporate setup to the insurance industry, because I want to spend more time with them. Kasi nga gusto ko lumaki, magbabarkada lang kami. And then, so nangyari naman yun. And when we talk, hindi siya talaga yung baby. Alam mo yun, parang mas baby pa nga. Pero, yun, may wisdom. May wisdom yung mga bata talaga. And it was also hard for them, especially for my daughter that time. Kasi, nung nilipat namin sila ng school, siya talaga yung pinaka naapektuhan. Kasi ang dami niya ng friends, tapos parang mahirapan siya mag-adjust kasi yung environment na naman. Pero praise God talaga dahil when she moved to the new school, lahat ng hindi niya na-experience sa previous school niya, na-experience niya. Talagang na-expose siya sa lahat ng mga gusto niyang mangyari sa arts, sa lahat sa modeling, basta lahat ng mga feeling niya before gusto lang niyang nangyari doon sa school na yun. So, wala talagang pangit na akala mo lang pangit yung nangyari kasi hindi yun yung nakasanayan mo, wala kang pera eh. Alam mo yun? Pero looking behind it or looking beyond that, it teaches you a lesson, it gives you a new experience, and those experience will give you a new perspective of life. And I think that is that's more important for us. And now since we have a new perspective in life, mas alam na namin kung anong gagawin. Like my kids, they would really save. Kasi alam na nila, ayaw nila bumalik doon sa ganun, di ba? Niloko nga sila. Mahal ang lifestyle nyo. Dapat pagka laki nyo, malaki yung mga sweldo nyo para masupport ay mga lifestyle nyo. Kasi yung son ko naman is into basketball. Minsan, nag-iipon siya for his shoes. So, hindi na, pag kami kailangan sila sa school, minsan hindi na sila nanghihingi sa amin ng mag-asawa. So, parang, sabi ko, okay din to Kasi naging financially independent sila at some point. And I think, malaking factor yung downfall na yun. Dun sa, on how they think about, on how we collectively think about money.
Well, I think that that answers my second question. Kasi that was when you are already an RFP member.
Yes.
But I'm curious about way before you were an RFP member. May downfall din ba during that time?
Meron ba? Iniisip ko eh. Kasi sa sobrang lala nung recent, natabunan na lahat. Teka, iniisip ko yan eh.
Pero dun sa recent na situation, and how did you recover from it? Parang it's like a communication within the family.
Yeah. So number one, really surrender because hindi ko na talaga alam kung anong gagawin ko. Pangalawa, conversation with the family and accepting that we are in this situation. And what I appreciate about RFP, kasi kung iisipin ko, if hindi ako nag-aral ng RFP, titigil kami dun sa part na I had that kind of conversation with the family. So what's next? 'Di ba? Pero since I studied RFP, after ko makausap yung family, then financial needs analysis ko yung pamilya namin. That's when my head got clear kasi parang at first parang feeling ko kasi nakakahiyang i-break sa kids. Kasi kami dalawang mag-asawa lang yung nakakaalam. Ganyan. Actually, pati yung husband ko rin kasi parang later lang din yan na-realize yung gravity nung nangyari. And then when he realized it, he didn't blame me. He just said that, sige, pagtulungan natin yan. So, nasa isip ko lang talaga na, and siguro yun din yung gusto kong sabihin sa mga nakakausap ko or sa mga nakikinig din sa atin na if you have a financial problem, you tell it to those people na directly affected by it. Kasi yeah, it was my money na ginamit ko for the business, 'di ba? Pero syempre, kapag may nangyari kasi doon, if it fails or if it succeeds, maapektuhan yung family, 'di ba? Kasi sila they are the reason why you're doing all of these things anyway, 'di ba? So, if you are in that kind of situation, kahit feeling mo sobrang nakakahiya, sabihin mo kasi you wouldn't know how helpful they will be, not just monetary but also emotional support. Kasi yun yung pinaka-importante. Yun yung pinaka-na-appreciate ko rin sa husband ko that time. He never blamed me about what happened. move forward yung ginawa niya talaga. And so that time parang nagulat ako. Yun yung isa sa mga one of the miracles kasi na nangyari rin sa amin na hindi naman siya nag-a-apply ng trabaho. May nag-headhunt sa kanya. And then natanggap siya with a bigger pay. So it really helped us na to fill the gaps during that time. So going back to the RFP thing. So when I communicated the situation to the kids, that's when my head got clearer, and then I I did a financial needs analysis for myself, and alam ko naman talaga kung ano yung nagde-deplete. So I really have to detach my emotions from it. And the reason why I cannot do it at that time kasi syempre friend ko kasi yung partner. Which praise God din talaga hindi kami nasira ng business because naghiwalay kami ng maayos. And until now best friend ko pa rin siya.
Okay.
Oo. So we're thriving. Both of us are thriving. Nagbe-business pa rin siya. Ako nag-financial advisor ako. So kaya alam ko talaga na I was really on the right path during that time. Kasi kung ibang tao yun, magkakagalit na yun dahil sa pera. Pero kami dalawa talaga, sobrang subok talaga kami when it comes to money. And then, um, nag-add ako ng side hustle. Typical kung ano yung sinasuggest ko sa mga ano. Nag-add ako ng side hustle. And then, nag-upskill ako, ganyan. So, what else did I do? So, tinawagan ko yung mga debtors. Nagtatanong ako kung ano yung mga payment schemes na pwede kong i-avail to to make it easier for me to pay it all out, ganyan. So praise God, after 2 years talaga, I was debt-free. And sobrang bilis nun. Kasi, kung kukumpitin mo kasi, ayoko na lang i-divulge kung magkano yung nalugi, pero kung magkano yung nawala sa akin. Pero, kasi kung kukumpitin ko siya, siguro, at the rate that I'm going, 3 years siguro or more pa. Pero, going towards the second year, medyo kumakalma na talaga yung sitwasyon. So, sabi ko, okay, thank you talaga. Thank you, Lord talaga. Kasi, so that's the reason. Kasi I've been wanting to enroll sa RFP even before pa. Pero hindi siya talaga nangyayari. And I realized that it happened at the right time na kailangan fresh yung isip ko. Kailangan kakaaral ko lang siya bago mangyari ang lahat. So, yeah, that's what I appreciate about the journey.
So, right now, you're financially free.
It's easier now.
Okay.
I'm still a work in progress, 'di ba? And I'm not ashamed in telling that kasi yung mga businessman nga na nakakausap ko, yung mga mentors ko rin, they came from that kind of
Yung
situation na
downfalls.
sobrang million talaga yung nawala sa kanila. And it took them how many years to recover? 'Di ba? Ako kailan lang naman din to. So parang, and although I give it credits din na I'm already in a better position right now na more liquid, na wala nang debts talaga. Alam mo yun, even the credit card is also updated. And then the schools of my kids are paid. Yun yung mga, and then the dues are also paid. So, yun yung sobrang thankful ako kasi at that time, patong-patong kasi talaga siya. May utang, tapos nagpa-pile up yung mga bills. Tapos, i-move mo pa yung kids mo sa mas murang school. But now, we are really preparing for something bigger kasi nga magka-college na yung daughter ko. So, yun naman. Pero hindi na siya ganun kabigat for us right now kasi medyo nagsisettle in na. Sabi nga ng daughter ko, we're back in business.
You're back in business
Yes.
talaga. So, right now, na debt-free ka na, and parang nalagpasan mo yung ganong situation. May ginawa ka ba? Or is there an investment na pinag-focusan mo?
Right now, wala pa akong investment na pinag-focusan, pero I am heavily invested on our insurance. Kasi iniisip ko kung kung during the financial crisis that we were in before at may nangyari pa sa amin mag-asawa, kawawa yung dalawang anak namin.
Yeah.
May iwanan na nga sila ng utang. Tapos wala pa silang pera. Alam mo yung ganun? So, um, yun yung pinaka siguro, kung hindi na namin mabayaran yung kuryente, basta yung insurance bayad. Kasi natatakot talaga ako na, hindi ko alam eh, hindi mo naman alam din, that's the essence of insurance, di ba? Kung kailan ka mawawala, hindi mo naman alam talaga yun. So, we are heavily invested on that, both health insurance and life insurance. And as much as possible, we keep it in force because it's one thing that you have an insurance policy, but it's another thing that to keep it in force. Kasi kung hindi naman, kung meron ka nga, tas nilapse mo rin, at the time of need, wala rin makukuha yung beneficiaries mo or wala ka rin makukuha, di ba? So, yun lang muna. Kasi, I don't want to invest on something. Kasi okay pa naman kami mag-asawa. Yung mga future needs namin, kaya na naming bunuin yan. Kasi we can still work, ganyan. Pero, ang ayoko lang is, pag merong uncertainty na hindi namin calculated. Kasi yung mga future plans, calculated namin yan. Pero yung biglang magkasakit ako bukas, or mawala ako bukas, hindi namin kalkulado yon. So at least yung amount of coverage that we have right now can suffice if ever man na isa sa amin yung mawala. So yun.
Since when ka nag-join ng RFP?
Batch 82 ako eh. So 4 years ago, I think.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
So, before ka mag-join ng RFP, I mean, yung downfall mo na minention kanina, that was during your RFP membership na, no?
That was after.
After,
Siguro, after a year yata yan. So, yeah. Ilan ba? Ano ba yung pandemic?
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, around that time, 2020, around that time yung RFP. And then 2021 or 2022 yung downfall. Ganyan.
Okay. So, regarding sa insurance, since you mentioned that yun yung parang pinaka-investment niya as couple, until now, dun pa rin kayo nag-focus for now.
Yes.
Okay. So, ngayon, ever since you started joining RFP, what motivated you to join RFP?
Ang pinaka-motivator ko talaga is si Miss Salve Doplito. Sinasabi ko yan kahit kanino, kahit sinong magtanong sa akin. Kasi, nung nag-join ako ng insurance industry, and then, sikat na sikat yung RFP, di ba? Kasi it's like an MBA of the financial institutions. So ano kaya RFP ganyan? Every time I would see a poster of RFP, there was just this one lady na RFP. And it's Miss Salve Doplito. Alam mo yun? So doon ako na-inspire na bakit kaya isa lang siya? Ano naman siguro, marami naman sigurong nag-aaral ng RFP, pero si Miss Salve lang talaga yung nandun. Sabi ko ganun. Sabi ko, what if, sobrang ambitious kasi ako. Sabi, what if masamahan ko siya doon? Ganun ba? Ganun ba ako? Ganun yung motivation ko. So, what if mas marami na next time? What if isa rin ako doon? Ganyan. So I've been wanting to enroll. Pero at that time kasi, parang hindi pa siguro ukol talaga. And it's just during the pandemic na I think we were the first batch na online na lang siya. So, doon ako nakapag-enroll kasi may time na, sa bahay na lang naman kasi, di ba? Unlike before na super busy talaga, hindi ko talaga masingit. So, yun, nag-enroll ako. Tapos, natawa ako kasi, so, nung graduation, nandun si Miss Salve. Tapos, when I received my certificate, tinawag ko si Miss Salve. Sabi ko, Miss Salve, ikaw nanay ko, dali. So, yun. Nagkakilala kami ni Miss Salve kasi nga, ko siya, during the pandemic also, while I was doing the RFP, I think. I can't remember very, ano na, clearly. Pero I also did a podcast that time, a Facebook Live, na it's about money rin. And then I invited Miss Salve. Tapos that's when I told her na, alam mo ba, Miss Salve, the reason why I enrolled to RFP, it's because of you. Sabi ko ganun. You inspire me so much, sabi ko. And I want to be like you. And I also like her advocacy kasi na she would she would teach not just to the C levels of the corporates, 'di ba? But she would also reach out to those people na talagang kailangan ng financial literacy. And that's what I admire of her kasi nga sila yung mas kailangan nun eh. 'Di ba? Isipin mo kung mas maaga kang na-influence ng ganong klaseng mindset, wala siguro masyado mahirap. Kaya ang hirap ng trabaho, ang hirap ng ginagawa niya. Kasi walang reinforcement like sa school man lang or sa barangay man lang. She's just alone. Di ba? Parang gano'n. So, kaya, kaya whenever I get the chance, I would want to also do something like that sa mga communities. So, yun.
So, ever since na-inspire ka, nag-join ka sa RFP, nung naging tumagal-tagal ka na as a member of RFP, how did you use your platform to influence your approach to other people, to your relatives, to your friends?
Ang ganda niya kasi aside from the learnings, aside from the principles and concepts na tinuturo ni RFP, I guess what I really appreciate is yung structural approach on how you deal with financial situations. Kasi every financial situation is different. Depende sa tao yon. And hindi mo masasabi kasi na yung dalawang taong may utang, magkaiba pa rin yung financial situation nila. Kasi 'di ba, hindi naman pare-pareho rin yung pinanggalingan ng utang, hindi rin pare-pareho yung mindset ng mga tao when it comes to utang, 'di ba? So, nagkaroon ng structural approach kasi however you look at a financial struggle, meron at meron yung structural way on how you can ease it out or how you can solve it out. And that's what I appreciate about RFP kasi um, yun yung essence ng tinuturo niya. Tinuturo niya sa lahat ng konsepto, how taxes works, how you can deal with a lot of check and balances ng mga wealth ng mga tao, 'di ba? And then but at the end of the day, kapag ka na nakuha mo lahat ng mga konsepto na yun at naaral mo lahat ng yun, you would already know kung halimbawa kukwentuhan ka about financial struggle, since you are the person outside of the situation, you already have a clearer picture on how to resolve that. And it's just a matter of telling that person kung ano yung kailangan niyang gawin. And of course, pag ginawa niya yun, then matutulungan mo siya, 'di ba? Kasi at the end of the day, nasa kanya pa rin naman 'yan kung susundin ka niya, 'di ba? Pero it gives you that kind of um, parang vision. It gives you that kind of vision on how you can help people solve their financial struggles. And I'm really happy that I attended RFP kasi nga ang hirap lang nun sa akin dahil ako yung mismong nasa financial struggle. So I don't have an outside eye to look at me. But when I reached the point na, sige, i-clear ko nga, lalabas ako dun sa situation ko. Then I saw na, okay, ito yung kailangan na namin gawin. Step 1, step 2, step 3, kausapin sa ginto, kausapin sa ganyan. Then, it worked. So, okay, nag-work din sa akin. So, effective siya. So, I'm happy na nag-attend talaga ako RFP.
That was as a financial wealth manager na. So, na-apply mo yung learnings mo from RFP.
Financial, unit manager na kasi ako nag-start sa industry. So, pero at that time, parang, since na-hit nga ng pandemic, during the pandemic, medyo nag-lilo rin yung team. Kaya parang wala talaga reinforcement that time when it comes to finances. Kasi, hindi namin alam kung paano i-maneuver kasi nga, lockdown alam mo yun. Pero, I just moved to another company a year ago. So now, sobrang sobrang okay talaga yung nangyayari.
Okay, so as a financial wealth manager,
Mm.
do you communicate with clients directly?
Yes, I still do.
Okay, so ano usually na niyo-recommend or sinasuggest or pinag-uusapan niya?
Well, kasi we talk we talk of a lot of things kasi hindi lang naman yan puro work, 'di ba? But when it comes to work naman, they would normally ask me kung ano yung mga financial instruments na pwede nilang i-avail kasi may sobra silang ganito, ganyan. And common kasi na sinasabi nila, especially kahit dun sa mga kahit dun sa mga clients na bago pa lang kukuha ng insurance, what they really want to get is something with investment. I have nothing against that naman kasi kung yun naman talaga yung gusto nila and based on financial needs analysis, it's really what they need. Pero most often than not, if my client doesn't have a health insurance yet, at at VUL kaagad yung gusto niyang kunin, I would still encourage them to get a health insurance first. Health insurance, and then, sige, mag-VUL ka na kahit wag ka muna mag-life insurance kasi si VUL naman or si variable unit link naman has an insurance component naman din as it is. Pero, I would really recommend a standalone health insurance. Why standalone? Because yung standalone insurance kasi doesn't work like a rider lang, a critical illness rider. It works way better. So, lagi yun. Lagi, kung nakikinig yung mga clients ko dito, they would attest to that na kapag, lagi ko tinatanong, first time mo ba ito magkaroon ng insurance? First time ko. Kung first time mo to, I would highly recommend that you get a health insurance first. Kasi, kasi we would always know kung ano yung mga pinag-iipunan natin in the future. Pero kung nag-iipon tayo, tapos bigla tayo nagkasakit at wala tayong health insurance or any form of health coverage, lahat ng ipon mo, magagalaw mo lahat yan. Lahat ng savings mo, magagamit mo lahat yan, baka umutang ka pa. And pag nagamit mo yung, isipin mo nag-save ka for something else, then you're going to use it for this situation lang. 'Di ba? Wala naman tayong magagawa doon if at least meron kang nagastos. Pero why would you risk that money kung meron ka namang option na iba yung magbabayad for you? And at the same time, konti lang yung premium na babayaran mo. Pero ang babalik sa'yo, milyon. 'Di ba? So, napaka talaga niya eh. Parang napaka-simple logic lang niya kung iisipin. Pero hindi talaga siya ganun ka-acceptable pa at some point kasi syempre yung mga tao mas gusto nila tangible, mas gusto nila may investment, ganyan. Hindi nila nako-consider kaagad na oo nga nung nagkasakit yung kamag-anak ko, hindi naman niya pinlano yun eh. Hindi niya nga alam kung magkano aabutin nung bill niya sa ospital kasi nakaratay siya doon, di ba? Pero when you talk about a health insurance or any health coverage, you would see na, alam mo, 1 million yan. Alam mo, ang premium yan, ganito lang. Alam mo, ang premium yan, babayaran mo, 17th of the month. Alam mo, controlled mo, 'di ba? Hindi katulad pagka nagkasakit ka, hindi mo alam kung kailan ka magkakasakit. Hindi mo alam kung magkano aabutin nun. Hindi mo rin alam kung mabubuhay ka pa after nun. Isipin mo, nagkakasakit ka na nga, nandun ka na sa ospital, pinoproblema mo na kung paano ka gumaling, poproblemahin mo pa kung saan kukuha ng pera pang papagaling mo. And hindi lang ikaw yung nababurden, pati yung family members mo rin. So that's why I'm really so passionate in educating people about that kind of situation, which health insurance can give to them. That's the ultimate benefit of that. So yeah.
But you usually introduce yourself ba to your clients na I learned this from RFP, from my own financial struggles.
Yes. Oo, kasi nakikita naman nila. Kasi I would normally post it. Alam mo yun din yung maganda pagka nag-RFP ka. Kasi there's a certain credibility to it. Minsan yung mga ibang clients, alam nila eh.
Financial.
Uy, nag-RFP ka pala, ganyan. Tapos, talking points na yun. Kailan tayo, ganyan. So, ano siya eh, there's a certain prestige, especially, excuse me, especially when you are able to attach those initials after your name. There's a certain prestige to it na kapag ka nakita nila, it's as if nag-MBA ka talaga. And nung nag-graduate ako ng RFP, so syempre marami nagko-congratulate, yan. And yung level of conversation is different already because you have you have more credibility. And since they know that you studied this, pinaghusayan mo to, di ba? MBA yan mo to, parang ganun. So, mas naniniwala talaga sila. And nandun na rin sa point na parang yung client na mismo yung lumalapit. Na patulong naman ako sa ganito, may ganito, may sobra akong pera, what can we do with this? Ganyan. So, yun.
Okay. So, I know naging emotional tayo sa conversation na to, and I really appreciate all of your sharings. Pero, is there any other valuable lessons that you can share to our listeners, to our viewers, na you want them to get motivated from your experience or inspired?
Okay. Siguro, there are three things in life that parang I really do care about. Number one is mentorship. So, kung meron kang hindi alam at meron kang gustong marating, you have to seek mentors. And then, kasi sila yung magbibigay sa'yo ng shortcut going there. Kasi napagdaanan na nila yun eh. And those mentors doesn't have to be people na sobrang mayaman, alam mo yun. You can have multiple mentors eh. Mentors that will guide you through your spirituality, will guide you through your mental health, will guide you through a lot of things, di ba? You should have different mentors for every aspect of life. Good kung makikita mo yun sa isang tao, pero most often than not, hindi mo talaga yung makikita sa isang tao. And it's good that you surround yourself with people na mas magaling or mas matalino or mas ahead of you. Kasi you would think the same. 'Di ba? Parang iniisip mo, ganito lang ako mag-isip, pero pag kasama ko itong tao na to, parang mas napupush akong mag-isip palalo. So that's when you get challenged. Number two, so that's one, you have to seek mentors. Number two, you have to seek collaborations or you have to be in a collaborative environment. So these are the people na same wavelength kayo, pero different expertise. That's why you can collaborate. Kasi you can complement each other. Kasi yung mentors mo kanina, above you sila, di ba? Ito naman mga co-collaborators mo. And they can make you creative. And at the same time, ikaw din, you also influence them to be creative as well. So, nagkakaroon kayo ng pareho kayong may pinuput on the table. Diba? Kasi isa, mini-mentor ka. So, parang most of the time, ikaw lang yung nakikinabang nun, diba? Pero this time, since you have co-collaborators, lahat kayo nag-iisip, lahat kayo nagko-collaborate, ganyan. Most importantly, kapag nandun ka na sa status na yon na meron kang co-collaborators and meron ka ng mentors, number three, you have to have an environment where you can pay it forward. Kasi, ikaw naman yung mentor dun sa part na yon. Diba? There are people who are also struggling or who are also in that space where you were before when you were just starting. And since ang dami mo na narinig, ang dami mo na skipan ng mga problema because you had mentors, then it's now time for you to pay it forward and look for people or be with people na meron ding same struggle na baka makatulong ka ma-alleviate yung struggles nila na yun. But I will give you a bonus. Ultimately, we cannot do anything without the Lord.
Yeah.
So, kahit anong talino mo, puro head knowledge lang yan. And kahit anong gawa mo, if it will not be allowed, wala rin yun, di ba? So, ultimately, surrender everything to the Lord and He will make your path straight. Yun yung yun yung nag-e-embody ng lahat ng mga pinagdaanan namin. Naiiyak naman ako, please. So, pero, yeah, so, in every part of that journey, you have to include the Lord and make Him first. Kasi pag siya'y inuna mo, lahat ayusin niya yun. Sabi nga, ay, sobrang gustong-gusto ko yung phrase na take care of God's business and He will take care of your business. And right now, lagi ko naman sinasabi, you got this because He got you. Di ba? So,
Yeah.
so it's very encouraging. And if you rest in that thought that kahit saang situation ka naroon, good or bad, if you know that the Lord is with you, you can have peace. Peace that you cannot even explain. Joy that you cannot even explain. Siya lang talaga yung makakapag-feel ng void. So, and I hope that at any point in time that we are in, especially the bad ones or the good ones, actually, especially the good ones then, let us remember that everything happened because He let that happen for a reason. And let's just always be grateful about it. So, yun.
Wow. Parang ang sarap pakinggan. Parang nag-reflect siya sa akin. Nag-reminisce lahat ng napagdaanan ko rin before. Pero I really appreciate it. So, before we wrap things up, do you want to promote your podcast before?
Ay, nakaka-pressure. Ang tagal na kasing wala noon kasi nga sobrang na-busy na. Pero my socials are basta entitled siya Thrive with Tita Heidi. So I am in TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And I talk about faith, food, and finance. So if you would see my my IG, puro pagkain yun. Kasi mahilig ako talaga kumain. And um, also about faith, I would always share doon yung mga quiet time ko, kung ano yung mga reflections ko. And of course, ano rin, sa finance din, di ba? Kasi nga nasa insurance industry ako and I really want to reach more people. I told you nga that I had a podcast before. It's also in Spotify pa rin naman until now. Pero it's not active. But I've been thinking of recovering that kasi sobrang na-miss ko rin naman kasi talaga siya. I hope that I could really find time to do that again. But you can still see the past episodes doon sa YouTube and sa Spotify. Thrive with Tita Heidi. So, ang title ng podcast ko before is Womoney Talks. Kasi women, money, stocks. Womoney Talks. So, yan.
Ganda. So, yun, do you want to share something else before we wrap things up?
Yeah, if you are that kind of person who also wants to share the same advocacy as we do as financial advisors, we need more people in our team. Kasi, ang sarap isipin na nandun ka sa trabaho na this is the perfect ikigai for me. I always say that. Because sa ikigai kasi it has to be an overlap of all four, di ba? You have to, this is something that you love to do, this is something that you are good at, this is something that the world needs, and this is something that you can get paid for. And it's amazing that insurance industry has all four of that. And it could be your ikigai as well. It's something that the world needs because sa hospital when you get sick, they would always ask you first, may insurance po bang gagamitin? So kung hindi kailangan ng tao yun, bakit kailangan pa itanong? Diba? So, and lahat ng mga nagsistruggle financially, makikita mo, doon nila naiisip na sana kumuha sila ng insurance. If you can be that person who can bridge that gap from sa mga tao na hindi na pagdaanan yung ganong klaseng financial struggle because of a certain illness, because a loved one passed away, then it's a very rewarding career for me. So if you want to be part of that kind of movement, I call it movement also. If you want to be part of that kind of movement, I'm continuously growing my team. So just message me sa Thrive with Tita Heidi. You can leave a message there. Just message me and then let's see if your values matches ours and if yung mindset namin as a team ma-enjoy nyo rin or makikita nyo rin yung sarili nyo, then let's talk and explore.
And that's a wrap on today's episode. Thanks for tuning in. If you love diving into money stories as much as we do, make sure to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify, or visit our official website at rfp.ph for more financial insights. Until next time, keep chasing those money moves.